In the middle of northwest coast of Tasmania lies a very pretty town with a tremendous football history and a coach who's such a legend in that town that he should take it upon himself to run for Lord Mayor. Football culture with Max Brown from Ulverstone.
Well, it's been another long drive. It's 11 o'clock. We've arrived in Ulverstone. There's nothing open, but we've found a phone book and we've ordered a pizza from Red Grasshopper, and I think he's trying to deliver it to us right now. Thanks very much.
That's all right.
Are you the only place open in Ulverstone? Apparently you get a huge trade.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty good actually.
You're the most famous pizza place in all of the northwest coast.
Well, that's cool.
Are you going to the footy tomorrow?
I'm going over. Yeah, I've got to play tomorrow.
Oh, you're playing, are you?
Yeah, I'm under 18s for Ulvs.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have a great game tomorrow. You're not going to work too late tonight. What time's your game tomorrow?
10 to 10.
Yeah?
Yeah, but
You get enough sleep?
yeah, I should be right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You'll be up till 2:30 doing this and then...
Oh, no, I'm knocking off in about 10 minutes actually.
Okay.
But there's more blokes working tonight. Yeah, we had 5 on tonight, plus the manager.
And it's the biggest takeaway place in Ulverstone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
You could say that.
How long's it been going for?
25 years. It was last year, the 25th anniversary.
25 years.
Yeah.
And do you know where the name Red Grasshopper comes from?
Would not have a clue. I'm not real sure about that, no.
Wouldn't have a clue.
No, just they made it up on the spot, I think.
I love you so much it makes me angry.
You know the second best thing about doing football life is the things we get for free. 2 hours later, with no phone call and no warning, another man dressed in red arrived with 2 milkshake ice creams and then disappeared into the night. When we woke up the next morning, we realised the Beachway Motel where we'd been staying was actually co-owned by Ulverstone coach and legend Max Brown. Mrs. Brown invited me inside to meet the man himself and, in fact, the whole Brown family. Hi Max, how's it going?
G'day Dave, how are you?
Good. Big game against Latrobe today.
Huge game today against Latrobe, mate, for sure.
And this is part of your Saturday morning warm-up, is it?
This is a Saturday morning ritual, yes mate. Looking after a 10-week-old daughter.
So you've got your hands pretty full there, Max. What's managing a family like compared to managing a football club or football players?
A lot of similarities, Dave, particularly when they're this close. The older one's only 22 months today and the young one's only 10 weeks, so they keep you busy, but maintaining the football side keeps you busy as well, no doubt about that.
Who plays up more, the kids or the footy players?
Oh, a bit of both, they both have their moments.
Tell us about your history of playing for the club. You've had a long playing career with Ulverstone as well as coaching.
Yes, I played my entire football career at Ulverstone, just almost 200 games, and I've now coached there. This is the 9th season, the 7th year with the seniors, and 2 years with the under-19s prior to that.
Heading into today's game, Latrobe had won 1 out of its last 16 encounters at Ulverstone Oval. Perhaps this was the reason why they rejected Ulverstone's offer to play the game on Sunday as a curtain raiser to Tassie's VFL game. I asked Max if he knew why.
Well, I don't really know the reasons. I can only say I believe it's one of the most disappointing things I've seen in footy for the 30-odd years that I've been involved in the game. There's no reason whatsoever that we should not be playing Latrobe tomorrow. And basically I think the Latrobe committee's decision not to take up our offer has let down the Ulverstone Football Club, the entire Northwest Coast, and in fact the Latrobe players themselves, because I know a lot of those boys from my statewide experience, and I would have no hesitation in saying that they would dearly love to be playing as a curtain raiser to Tasmania and the Murray Kangaroos tomorrow in what is simply an historic day in footy. So it's really a bewildering decision, and I've got no idea the logic behind Latrobe's decision not to play the game on Sunday.
After breakfast, Max sent us around the town. It really is a beautiful spot, surrounded by big green hills on one side and the Bass Strait on the other. So it's not that hard to tell why Ulverstone folk reckon this is just about as good as it gets. Meanwhile, Max and I were talking up football strategy and even more town aesthetics. Max has been relieved of his family duties now. He's driven us around the town. We've seen lots of great things. About 14,000 or so people live here, Max?
That's about right, yes. Very, very pretty town.
It is, and we're standing in front of the Shrine of Remembrance, one of the icons here in Ulverstone, so there's obviously a very strong Anzac tradition here.
There has been, there's generally huge turnouts both for the dawn service and the mid-morning one, and this week was no exception, and certainly it adds a lot to the day that we're playing for the Anzac Cup, and there's it's one of the great days of the calendar, playing on or being part of an Anzac Day ceremony.
Great. We might head down to the footy ground and catch all the action there.
I'm the whiskey chair.
The Latrobe Football Club was formed in 1881. They played their first game of footy in a paddock behind Barber's Hotel against Formby. They went on to win that game, 3 goals 20 to 0 goals 15, wearing blue and white Guernseys and white knickerbockers. Their win was a result, according to the local press, of their more active movements. They've won 7 senior premierships, including their most recent in 1974 under the legendary Darryl Baldock.
Yeah, we was known as the Diehards when we formed back in 1881, and it revolved when we virtually aligned ourselves with Melbourne and went to the Demons.
And always worn the red and the blue?
Always red and blue. We went to the royal blue for a while when Melbourne changed to the light blue, and then when they went back to the dark blue, we went back to the dark blue as well. I think one of our main arch rivals has been Ulverstone, certainly, and with Cooey back in the days when they was a club, and to a lesser extent probably East Devonport and Devonport.
Football was first played in Ulverstone in 1887 on a local paddock, with a hill providing a grandstand for the spectators. Since that time, Ulverstone's won 25 senior flags. And I'm talking with Wayne King, a former president of the club, and of those 25, I think about half a dozen have been triple flags, Wayne.
Yes, at least half a dozen, commencing back in 1986, my first year as president.
That's great, winning the underage, the reserves and seniors.
That's correct, yes.
And I believe Ulverstone was also the first team in the northwest to win the statewide premiership.
In 1955, they were the first NWFU side to win a state title at that stage, defeated Newtown at this ground.
And Wayne, how important is Max Brown for the Ulverstone Football Club, and what sort of a bloke is he?
He's a wonderful chap, Max. Played the best part of 200 senior games himself in his footy career.
This is a big weekend for this footy club. This is a big weekend for us 21 blokes.
Max truly is a big figure in Ulverstone, almost as big as the old heritage oak tree that stands above the can bar. We enjoyed a couple of cans during the first half of the footy underneath the old tree, and then headed to the canteen, not for a salve, nor indeed for a steak sandwich, but for Ulverstone's own big beef Mardi Gras satay.
Well, we believe we've got some of the best on the coast when it comes to football. We run one of the best kiosks, and we brag about that, and I think you've already experienced our beautiful satays. Now, you've commented yourself on that.
True, and I'm about to taste it officially in a moment.
Right, they are a curried marinated beef, right? They've been 4 days in the brew, so they've started to work.
Right.
And we've carried that on for 4 or 5 years now.
Where did the satay start? What gave you the idea to run a satay at a football canteen?
Ulverstone have a Christmas festivity,
right,
and the football club gets involved with that as a fundraiser, so we started that at the local Mardi Gras.
Right,
so we've transversed that back down to our football ground. It's been very popular.
So I'm about to taste a Mardi Gras satay.
Yeah, at the Ulverstone football ground.
Well, how about that? And you've got the big VFL game tomorrow. What strategies have you put in place to make sure you don't run out of food like North Hobart did a couple of weeks ago?
Well, we hope we do run out, but it's towards the end of the day, okay? But what strategies we've got a extra outside facilities away from this kiosk, so we've got 4 more food outlets.
Okay.
Right, we have got use of a great refrigerated container, right, and that is chock-a-block. So
right,
we've got our steaks, right, these great satays, bags and truckloads of chips, right, salves, right, bundles of salves, sausages, hamburgers, national pies, of course. You wouldn't run a footy match without a meat pie, would you?
That's a fantastic choice.
Yep, and we've got the soft drinks and the ever-popular boozer under the old elm tree at Ulverstone.
It's got everything, and the great thing is that the salves are only $1.20 here at Ulverstone. But I'm going to do the taste test on the satay. This has been marinated 4 days. It's a beef Indian-style satay. So, Mardi Gras, here we go.
How's that?
That's great. Have to give that 9.8 out of 10.
I'm the whiskey chair.
As for the game itself, Ulverstone broke to an early lead to go to quarter time 3 goals up. And despite the efforts of Manny Lynch and the Jaffray brothers, Ulverstone's little men dominated the second half, and the team ran out quite easy winners, 17-19, 121 to Latrobe 10-5, 65. After the game, as usual, we went to the club rooms and were fortunate enough to catch up with cultural spokesperson Chizza. Can I start by asking you, what is Ulverstone?
Well, it's the greatest little town on the northwest coast. It's the centre of the northwest coast. It's got great beaches and an even greater footy club. We represent per head of population. I think we've got more football teams in this town than anywhere else in Australia per head of population.
And you've worked in a variety of capacities in the entertainment industry in Ulverstone as a DJ. Tell me about your experiences there.
I've had a few experiences DJing in Ulverstone, yes.
What happened to the spa bath at the Lighthouse? And how many games did you play with the footy club?
I don't know. I played from a youngster right through to the end of my career, except for a stint out at Turners Beach, which is only 4 or 5 kilometres away. I wouldn't know how many games. I think a total of 8 senior games.
Do you have any particularly fond memories of playing with the club?
Oh, all the time. I mean, I really enjoyed the friendship of the people that I played with down here, and I found it a very good club to be involved in. Still do.
What do you recommend we do tonight?
Have a good time.
Thanks, Giuseppe.
No worries.
Well, big thank you for Tas Kino for sponsoring football culture, and we did have a good time that night in Stoney. And the music, who have we got to thank?
We've got to thank Rowan Smith, not the footballer, and Aroka Libra, who play at Salamanca during the week sometimes, and also the Robinsons for the music. David, and 2 things, Dave, just before we go.
Yep.
Under the oak tree, there was a personality there, under the oak tree. One Noel Morrison, so make sure you check that out. And also, is Max Brown Mayor of Ulverstone, Dave?
No, he isn't yet, but certainly has the potential to get that sort of status. And we would also like to thank the Beachway Motel, which is Max's motel there in Ulverstone, and the Lighthouse, where we stayed on Saturday night, and we actually experienced the spa that Chizza was talking about. So that certainly was something else. A spa in the open air on top of this accommodation vista in Ulverstone.
Fantastic, Dave.
Don't go away now. After the break, Olympic gold medalist Joanne Fox, footy versus water polo.